Hi folks, I'm Meath with Two Guys in a Ride, and today we are out here at the Intermark Osseo Car Show on this beautiful, gorgeous day. We're here with Dean. Dean has what I would call sort of a Johnny Cash Citroen. Somewhere between 65 and maybe 70, huh?
Yeah.
So, Dean, let's talk about, how did you get started with Citroens, first of all? I mean, why a Citroen?
Okay. I was 4 years old with my parents at the Minneapolis Auto Show in the old Minneapolis Auditorium.
Yeah?
And the salesman was demonstrating a Citroen going up and down. I remember that.
Wow. Yeah, some of those early childhood impressions sit with us, don't they?
Of course, my father would have never considered buying one, but
But that's okay, each to his own, right?
Yeah.
So now this is a combination, we said, of sort of many different Citroens.
When I rebuilt this, I have a large supply of parts, so I used the parts that I wanted to.
Okay, so let's start at the the metal part, this whole front end, because you have unusual headlights for this particular model of car.
The front end on this car was made from, this particular series was 64 through 67. And 67, and unfortunately rusted out, so I used the front end parts out there, and some, of course, other parts in my car. But the rest of the structure was a 1970. But they all kind of look alike.
Oh, they do.
There's just little intricacies with the parts that are not the same, over a period.
To the untrained eye, this would look like it was supposed to have been put together this way.
Right, so this could be a little cleaner, but basically what we got is a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder 5-main bearing engine that's actually behind the transmission, and it's front-wheel drive. Here's the drive axles here. The disc brake calipers are here. They're inboard disc brakes for better handling if you should blow a tire.
Okay.
And this car has all these hydraulics.
Yes.
So the hydraulic system on this car operates the brakes, the suspension, steering right here.
Okay.
On other Citroens like this, they also can operate the what's called a Citromatic transmission, which would be like a semi-automatic transmission, but the clutch would be hydraulically operated. This one has a straight manual transmission.
So we were talking earlier, so on those ones you would just simply, when you got to a point where you want to shift, you let off the accelerator.
And you would pre-select the gear and then let off, and it would go into the gear automatically. So this one, the hydraulic system, right here is the main hydraulic pump, driven off the crankshaft or camshaft, and it's fed by a reservoir of hydraulic fluid here, and then it goes to the different brake systems, powers those up and everything. And this is the suspension right here.
Okay.
This green device is called a sphere. It's got a membrane through the middle of it, and on the outer side it's got charged nitrogen, and on the inner end it's got the hydraulic fluid. So you can actually, if we were running this car, it's self-correcting. So if the car was up and you push down on it, it would come up and self-correct. And the car is always at the same ride height. You can load it up with whatever load you want, and it will always
automatically adjust.
Right.
It's kind of amazing, to think that was happening back then. I mean, now when you buy a vehicle, if you buy an SUV, you're like, well, does it have automatic load leveling suspension?
Yeah.
That's something you want to look at. But they had this way back then.
They made these cars from 1956 to 1975. I think the wagon, or the estate, or the brake, or whatever you call it, I think the first one of those was a 58.
Okay. So, because the wagon is a little more unusual than the sedan.
Right.
I've been to a number of shows and have not seen it. So let's talk about the inside.
Okay. Well, the upholstery came out of a different car. The dashboard is, I put that dashboard in because I like that dashboard. It was never offered in the wagon.
Okay.
But it's from a Palace sedan, and I just liked it. So I put that in. That instrument pod, below the dash is a very rare half-year only. It has the old style pod with the new style switchgear.
Okay.
1969 and a half. The interior on the Palace models, the sedans, it's extremely comfortable. The seats are like about a foot of foam.
Yeah, they look thick.
These are a little bit more utilitarian, but they're still quite comfortable. Got the center pad and the little head deals, you know, it's very comfortable.
And then yours did not, this particular car, the dashboard, it did not come with the stereo, which would typically have been right there.
Right, that's just a little
so you kept the shelf because you liked it, and then you put the stereo underneath it, okay? And of course the windows are all manual crank, and the shifter is up on, you know, it's on the tree.
Yeah, 4-speed manual.
And then you've got what, windshield wiper controls as well as turn signal indicators.
Yeah, and horn over there.
And then horn. Yeah. And did it all tilt, the steering wheel? No, it was locked in place. I do like the single spoke steering wheel.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a safety feature.
A safety feature.
Yeah, so that, you know, so that if you happen to be in a head-on collision, you would hit the upper end of the steering wheel, which would bend over, and you wouldn't get a stock going through.
Well, that's interesting. A safety feature. Huh. I've never had that explained to me before.
That's
new.
These fold up and down.
Okay, so they do fold.
So yeah, sure. You can pull this up and pull this down and get a very long cargo area.
Does it actually flip up like this?
Yeah,
so that
the bottom flips up and the.
Okay. So maybe an early version of stow and go seats.
Okay.
Okay, you can stretch it a little bit.
Okay.
You got a deep floor. Okay.
Well, it's a flat floor, of course.
Right.
Because you got the.
But it sits down a ways.
By the way, the front axles and the rear axles, everything they're on swing arms, so kind of like a motorcycle. Right?
Okay.
So, and the theory behind that is if the most comfortable way to position the wheels on a car would be to the center of the car, so that each wheel carries
equal
more
weight.
weight.
Yeah. Okay.
And the stablest way to configure it would be to have the wheels out on the edge. So this is the best of both worlds with the swing arms, because they're mounted near the center of the car, and then the wheels are out on the end.
Interesting. Because these just have a really comfortable ride.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They just kind of float down.
It's the best. I mean, it's going over railroad tracks is not a
problem. Now this is an interesting thing here. So when he opens it, see where that goes, and then you got this locking spring mechanism that just holds the door in place, and it clicks automatically.
Right, no gas shocks to wear out. It just works very well. Very
kind of ingenious there. Okay, we got a large back. So tell us what would be underneath the floor here.
Well, there's jump seats.
Oh, sure. See,
like that, and then there's another one facing the other direction.
So, I mean, I think that's just really interesting. I mean, I know they had to create the floor space to fit the seat in, but you've actually got a little bit of well, your knees aren't going to be sitting in your face. Let's put it that way.
Right. And then there's a little pad here so you don't hit your head on steel.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the speakers, of course, were something you added there.
Right.
But, just some unique designs that Citroen had. I mean, so you could fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would have been in what? Technically a 7-passenger?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so for the U.S. here, you could flip the license plate up and then put it down here and carry your cargo and be legal.
That is really neat. I've never seen that. Did not know they had that. Was that on all Citroens?
Well,
as far as you know,
at least American wagons.
At least American wagons. Okay. Yeah. Well, they wouldn't be needed on the sedans, but.
Right.
Ha. So. Yeah, I mean, you said you got quite the collection of Citroens because you needed spare parts. Because I mean, they're hard to find. So have you ever had trouble with the air suspension where you've had to?
Yeah, just fixed it yesterday.
Okay.
What it is there's well, we can't really see it, but there's and you can't see it on the front because it's buried underneath the fender. But I mentioned those spheres before.
Yeah.
And then there's a hydraulic cylinder that that gets pressurized and moves the car up and down. But all that stuff has to move around. There's a boot that connects to this rod that actually moves the swing arm up and down, and those deteriorate
after a while.
I had to change this one. I changed this one this week. It was hard to get one, but I did get one.
But you found one. Now talk to us a little bit about the roof rack here, because you put this on and made some modifications so you wouldn't scratch it up here.
I made these from weather stripping about a Fleet Farm, but anyway, I do have some actual factory ones that I'll be putting on soon. This is all aluminum that I polished. It did have factory. It did have these rubber surrounds there that I don't have on there.
Okay, so this is, but it's a factory roof rack.
Oh yeah.
Okay, tell us about the color of the car, because
The color?
that's a little different than a Citroen color.
Yeah, the color is 1956 Mercury Lauderdale blue. I saw one on a convertible and I liked it, so I chose that color.
You saw it passing you on the freeway.
Yeah, on my way to work. It was going back to the 50s, and I went there and tracked the guy down and found out what color it was.
Ah.
So,
And then the top color, the gray here, is
Mercedes-Benz Horizon Blue. Even though it's gray,
it's called Horizon Blue.
Blue tint to it.
So, man, Dean, it's awesome that you can work on these cars on your own. You have that knowledge. That's just incredible. What's one of your favorite things about this car?
Well, the hydraulic suspension is my favorite thing because it's just cool. You know, I mean, I can operate it for you here.
Oh, sure. Oh, wow.
To change a tire on this car, you jack it all the way up like this, and then you take this little jack stand type thing,
Okay.
peg that's in the center of the car, and then you depressurize the car,
And it keeps that one wheel up.
and it takes one side up, and down. The other side drops down.
Ha! That is, that's impressive how fast that goes up. And they really, boy, you get a whole different clearance level.
Oh yeah.
So, when they originally put that suspension in, was it because it was sort of because of the road conditions in France, or
That's
what
what
was?
I heard. The roads were so bad that they wanted something that rode very well.
That.
I'm going to show you the self-leveling suspension. See, I'm sitting on this thing, and in a few seconds, see, it rises back up to that ride height.
Man.
Self-correcting. And also, if you like get off it, it should also drop down here.
Yo, look at that. And that's just so fast.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of cars on air suspension that don't operate anywhere close to that fast, and they're brand new.
Right.
That's pretty incredible. So, typically speaking, would that be something you would set before you were in motion, or could you, as you were driving, going, "Oh, the road's getting rough, I'm going to raise it"?
Well, it does have actually 3 upper positions, and there are 2 that you can get it up to get a little bit more clearance.
Okay, but you would do that from a stationary point.
The higher the car is, the less suspension you get. So when the car's
rougher.
all the way up, it's
a rough ride.
But you can actually drive this car with 3 wheels. You bring it all the way up, put the jack stand under, depressurize it, take the rear wheel off, put it back up again, take the stand off, and you can drive it around without a rear wheel.
So in an emergency, you could still get by on 3 wheels.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Dean, thank you so much for sharing your story and your beautiful 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70 Citroen with us. We sure appreciate it.
Okay, nice to talk to you.
Thanks for watching.